All right, so we can get started, and we'll just maybe halfway through, if anybody new joins, we'll just kind of catch them up, or I'll definitely be available to anyone afterwards if they want to chat just one-on-one as well. So we are the Young Lawyers Section Council members who are here to talk to you today about who we are, and why we're here, and to welcome you personally, along with the notes we gave you. Maybe hopefully you got those, and the gifts from us. I thought we would start the session off by just introducing ourselves who are on the line. We have quite many more than just 6 of us on the council, and Krista will talk about that, how that works. But to kick it off, my name's Danielle Atchison. I represent District 3, which is in Kansas City, Missouri, and what else? Practice area. I do business immigration law for the Midvani Corporate Immigration Law Firm, and I am rounding out my 6th year in practice here next week. So pretty exciting stuff. Who wants to take it from there? Whitney?
Sure, I'll go next. I apologize. My husband is packing for a float trip upstairs, so if you hear things drop and crash, that's what that noise is. My name's Whitney Dunn. I am a risk manager at the Bar Plan, which is a legal malpractice insurer here in Missouri. We're based in St. Louis. I am in my 5th and final year of being a part of YLS Council. And quick plug for all of you that are now getting started in your practice as Missouri attorneys. The Bar Plan has an ethics hotline that we offer free of charge to anyone. If you're licensed in Missouri, which if you're on this call, I'm assuming you are. If you're not, what are you doing here? And you can call and ask us ethics questions, or, you know, even like, I think I might want to do this. Is this something that's risky to do as an attorney? And we'll kind of walk you through that, tell you what the rules and the ethics opinions have to say, and give you some guidance. Again, free, don't have to be insured with us, don't even have to want to be insured with us. We do it so we can help Missouri lawyers.
Awesome. Krista?
Hello, everyone. My name is Krista Moss. I am just finished my term on YLS as the Southern Appellate Representative. I am starting a governor's position for the Missouri Bar, and my practice is I just started a new position with the Assistant United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of Missouri. I'm in my 8th year of practice, and I've lived all around Missouri and Oklahoma.
All right, Morgan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Morgan Murphy. I'm an attorney with Devon Davidson Roman in St. Louis. It's a small plaintiff's personal injury and medical malpractice law firm. I'm a past chair of YLS Council, so that's why everybody keeps me around, I guess. And just wanted to say congratulations to everybody.
Yeah.
David, I think you're, yeah.
Okay, yep. Good afternoon, everybody, and congratulations once again on meeting the requirements for becoming a member of the Missouri Bar. My name is David Mccain. I'm an assistant attorney general in the Missouri Attorney General's office, one of the managing attorneys in the labor section within the office. I represent District 6 on YLS, which is primarily Cole County, but a couple of the surrounding counties as well. I'll be serving on the executive committee this year. This is the final year of my 2nd term, and I'm getting ready to be aged out. One of the members who recently left had said that, or had mentioned that he is now a middle-aged attorney, so I guess I'm approaching that category as well.
I said earlier today I'm an older youth. I really like that one.
I like that one too. Yeah, much better. Yeah.
I like older millennial.
There you go. Yeah, which is literally true. Do we have any other council members on? So I want to then, I guess, move to Brett. So as a member of the Missouri Bar, there's a lot coming at you as far as committee opportunities and involvement. And I want to encourage all of that. And along with your involvement, there's usually going to be a Missouri Bar representative, somebody that works on behalf of the bar to make everything actually go. And Brett is that for us on the YLS Council. So he is your contact. He is the man with the plan. So I'll let him introduce himself here and just briefly kind of say who he is, so that you guys get to meet him.
Great, thanks, Danielle. My name is Brett Rolls, and I am the staff liaison to the Young Lawyers Section Council at the Missouri Bar. And as Danielle said, I'm your contact for anything related to the Young Lawyers Section or the Young Lawyers Section Council. Great group of folks on the council, so I encourage you to reach out to them, get to know them, and get involved locally. And congratulations to everyone for your wonderful accomplishment.
Well, again, you guys, we just want to say congratulations on passing the bar in 2020. I think what's safe to say that this is a year that's going to go down as producing the most brilliant and resilient attorneys, or maybe the most mentally scarred. But on behalf of the Young Lawyers Sections, we're really thrilled to welcome you to the Missouri Bar. As someone who's practiced in multiple states and jurisdictions, I can tell you hands down that the Missouri Bar is one of the most incredible bar organizations in the entire country, frankly, in my opinion. It offers you extensive benefits and products and education and leadership and network opportunities. So it's a really exciting bar to be a part of. More specifically, the colleagues of mine that you just met, we want you to know that the Young Lawyers Section is an amazing network of Missouri lawyers, 36 years or younger, or if you're older, that you've only been in practice for 5 years or less. You automatically become a member of the YLS as a newly admitted member of the bar. So just to give you some brief information about the Young Lawyers Section that you are now a part of, by force, you didn't have any choice. It's really the service arm of the bar. We sponsor numerous service projects. We create and coordinate impressive continuing legal education programs. We host social networking events across the state. Over the years, the YLS has authored and edited numerous publications. We do things like judging grade school essay contests for Law Day, leading classroom discussions in schools across the state for Constitution Day. We pioneered many law school courses for the public, and we've participated in countless legal answer clinics, and so much more. The YLS is governed by a council whose representatives you get to elect every 2 to 3 years. So you can see that Danielle is scrolling through the page on our Young Lawyers Section website that shows you all of the different council members. They are elected based on their jurisdiction. There are 13 different districts, and we've recently added 3 appellate districts, which we have created to better reflect diversity. And just for your own information, this council coming up will be one of the most diverse councils that we have ever had, in large part due to all of the work that council members have done in the last several years to increase our diversity footprint, not just by your ethnicity, but in your practice area and in your geography, and in so many different ways. So we are really proud of that work and the focus that the council has placed on increasing our diversity. You can see your elected YLS council representatives, their contact information. You can contact them here. We also have a blog, and then if you scroll back up, there are links that show you where you can see the blog. And this gives you all of the information, all of the work that YLS is doing, whether it's doing work in your local bar associations or with the Missouri Bar through the YLS. We post a lot of stories here about what different things are happening, what kinds of awards we're receiving, and just different recognition and opportunities that you can be involved in as a young lawyer. There is also a new lawyer's resource guide that is super, super helpful for just kind of getting your feet wet in motion practice and things that you just need to know about being a lawyer in Missouri. So when you click that link, it takes you to a publication that YLS helped produce, and it gives you a lot of information about just generally being a new lawyer. The council and its committees are responsible for spearheading community service projects, as well as allocating funds and coordinating resources to support and sponsor educational and networking events across the state. And I would just highly, highly recommend that each of you consider running for YLS Council at some point in your early career, because as you've just found out, the older you get, the less likely you will have to have that opportunity because you'll be considered too old. But serving on the YLS Council has truly been one of the highlights of my career, and it's really one of the best organizations I've ever served. The opportunity to create long-lasting relationships with other young attorneys across the entire state instead of the local bar association where you'll get to meet people day in and day out. It's been a really wonderful opportunity to create those relationships with people who are intuitive and creative and leaders in their community. It's been a once in a lifetime opportunity. So it's not something that I was even aware of when I was sworn in to the Missouri Bar. So we're really glad to have this opportunity to let you know now that there's volunteer opportunities and leadership opportunities in the Young Lawyers section of the Missouri Bar. Just before I take too much of your time, I'll just let you know that we're really excited for you guys to be a part of the Missouri Bar. We hope that you are looking forward to being involved in all of the things that the Missouri Bar has to offer, particularly the Young Lawyers section. We're really sorry that we can't be with you to celebrate with you in person and to share cookies and lemonade and see you sign that really old book. I don't know if any of you attended the in-person ceremony, if you got to do that or if you will get to do that. It's just one other thing that the pandemic has robbed from us. But we hope that you find your path rewarding, that you don't stress about any of the opportunities or jobs that you find yourself in, that you find favor in everything that you do, and that you know the YLS Council is here for anything that you absolutely need, and that your practice will just be full of keeping justice at the forefront. So welcome to the Missouri Bar, and particularly to the YLS Council.
Welcome, Krista. Thank you for that. I'm energized. I'm like, can I run again? Yeah, I can, and I will be running for next term. Yeah, you guys should think about it. Run for election on the council. I think everyone else that's on here on behalf of the council is going to double down on that. Thank you. That was awesome. So the other piece before we kind of get into a Q&A, the hope is that you guys want to talk to us too a little bit. So maybe you have some questions. We're not just talking at you as new lawyers, anything burning. Think about that. But in the meantime, one of the things we wanted to bring up to make sure that we're all aware of is that law schools, of course, teach you about lawyer well-being. You learn that usually right when you start law school at orientation, and maybe it's been taught once or twice after that. And hopefully it's an ongoing conversation, but it's something as a young lawyer that you still have to have in the back of your mind or in the front of your mind, thinking about what am I doing for me? Because this career can take a toll. As an immigration lawyer in 2020, I will tell you, it's a struggle. So an important piece of making sure that you're well balanced is thinking about it and making changes in your life to consider your well-being. And the Missouri Bar, another awesome piece of that is having MOLAP, is having an assistance program for lawyers. And Ann Chambers here on the call is going to tell us a little bit about that, so you know what's available to you as a young lawyer, where your resources are, as well as your peers. So that's the council's here for that as well. If you guys want to talk about what it is to be a young lawyer and the battles you're facing, but I'll let Ann take over and talk about what she does for the bar.
So hi, y'all. My name is Ann Chambers. I'm the director of the Missouri Lawyers Assistance Program. And some of you may have heard of us already, but many of you may not have. We are a free, confidential counseling program that serves lawyers, judges, law students, and immediate family members. Our services are free to any bar member or prospective bar member, and that also includes your families. If you ever call MOLAP, we're here to help. We help folks work on personal concerns, anything from bad day at work to getting sober, to dealing with depression, to considering making life changes, to coping with anxiety and everything in between. I want to let you know that we're just here to help. If you ever call, the 1-800 number is 1-800-688-7859. And we will answer 24/7. Staff or me and Roger Whitler, who is a half-time licensed professional counselor. And now more than ever is always a good time to reach out. You guys are strong and brave and resilient, and you will make your mark.
That was very nice. Thank you, Anne. I know that, again, just like Krista said, I didn't even know there was a YLS. I think you're just running full speed ahead at your career, and you're not stopping to look at the resources available. And I think that's why we wanted to make sure that you know all these branches exist. And Anne is also taking the show on the road, right? So you are in specific areas. And can you tell us about that?
MOLAP has office hours at each of the state's 4 law schools, and because of COVID, they're virtual now. So one day each month that school's in session, we're available to talk to any law student. And if you don't catch us that day, you can call any other time, same as any other Missouri Bar member or future member. We also have added this year an electronic portal, so that if you want and you've got access to a Chrome browser, you can go online to the MOLAP portal and have a face-to-face session over the computer screen if you want to.
Awesome, like a telemedicine. That's
Exactly.
great. Thank you, Anne. Thanks for taking time out of your day to help come talk to us too. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the part that I was excited about. I mean, all of it's great, but definitely I want to hear from you guys. So I can facilitate maybe as a little moderator here. We already have one question in chat. If you all are interested in typing your questions in, that would be helpful. Otherwise, I can just maybe call on you guys Socratic method style and ask you some questions as new lawyers. The first question here comes from Brooke Bishop, and maybe Morgan, you can take that. What qualifications do members look for when voting for YLS council members? In your experience, what do you think?
So it's an elected position by the young lawyers in your community. So previously I was originally a District 9 representative, which is the city of St. Louis. Just like the county, St. Louis City is its own district, and then St. Louis County has its separate districts. So District 9 is the city of St. Louis, and you're voted upon by all of the young lawyers in your geographic area. So I don't know that there's, there's certainly no concrete qualifications. I think people are looking for leaders in their community and people who want to get things done, be a point of connection for them, and be a resource for other young lawyers. But, it may vary depending on your geography. And it is also, as with, I think, many situations with the bar and voting in generally, it totally depends on how many people vote, because sometimes the young lawyers elections are very, very close. So if you have a lot of friends, you could be on council. But it's a rewarding experience to be involved in the Young Lawyers Section Council for sure. As Krista was saying earlier, it gives you connections across the state. So I'm definitely very glad to have been a member. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, Whitney or David, do you have any input there on what you think voters are looking for?
Well, I agree with Morgan that being involved is probably the most important thing. You want to be someone that the members of your legal community know, and that will be a good conduit between your legal community and the Missouri Bar. Hopefully you will be able to make events happen and CLEs happen and things like that that will be meaningful to the people in your specific district. And that is why you are being chosen to be part of this organization. It's not only to help form the leadership community of young lawyers statewide, but specifically being an elected representative, your goal is to really represent those from your home community.
I think Whitney and Morgan said it very well, so I don't have much to add. I think that it's certainly going to vary depending on what district you're in as far as the makeup of that district, so on and so forth. But at least for me, I think one of the things that helped was past experience with the bar. Obviously, or for somebody as you all, it's going to be a little bit different because you're brand new. You're obviously just getting sworn in and becoming members of the bar. I waited a few years before I got involved in YLS, and by that point, I had already participated in Leadership Academy and was familiar with the bar and had done some other volunteer community service. I had some of that experience as well. And so for me, I think that's one of the things that stood out and helped. But even if you don't have that past experience, I think showing a willingness and to get involved, certainly with bar activities, is going to be a plus.
Yep. I think it actually, it's really easy to put your head down and go to work. And I think you come back up I have lots of friends who did that out of school, and they come back up and they don't really have the connections, maybe if they want to change jobs or change industries or, or legal practices or focuses, and they don't really have the connections that really is unique to our industry. We're so connected. Everybody really does know everybody. And so I think it's worth it to put your neck out, regardless if your election is maybe contested or not, because the network is huge. I was recently asked, what would you advise young lawyers on, for Missouri Lawyers Media thing? And my initial reaction was network. It's huge. You've got this whole industry of legal professionals, and for the most part, lawyers who have experience on the council here today, or lawyers who are really, really experienced in life, they want to share that. So if, as you're considering this and you're not sure if it's something for you, for instance, for me, the thought of not winning an election scared me, as it does statistically a lot of women. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to, I'm not sure, but I sourced a lot of people in my life and realized that it was worth it for me to see if I could be a part of the leadership. So do it. Don't doubt yourself, just try. And, if not here in your communities as well. I think that we have affiliate relationships with lots of bar associations. So the Missouri Bar really likes to be a collective space for those affiliates to come and ask for funding for things you want to put on, or do a joint event, which is different in the pandemic. YLS has a hand in a lot of that throughout the state. So regardless of where it's at, I encourage the involvement. Somebody asked which district they are in. I put a link to the map where you can identify your district based on where you live or work. So that's there as well. Are there any other questions?
I don't know if anyone has any other questions, and I don't want to cut anyone off if they do, but I just want to kind of piggyback on something that Danielle said that I think is important, that you are automatically right now a member of the Missouri Bar Young Lawyers section. And if the idea of running for an election or getting involved in a council sounds daunting to you at this point, or that isn't something that interests you, I really strongly still encourage you to be involved as a member of the Young Lawyers section. You are able to see the, on that page that Danielle was showing earlier, you're able to see all of the names and contact information of everyone who's on the council. And if you have any ideas about anything that you would like to see us do, if you want funding for some events, reach out to us and we will work with you, even if you're not an elected representative. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Brett, do you want to take that last question there? Or does anybody on the council want to?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in if nobody else wants to. The question is, what is the purpose of districts, and does each district get together or hold meetings in normal times? The idea of districts is just simply to even out representation across the state, to allow representatives to come together. And yes, there are meetings. We have typically 5 meetings annually, and in normal times they're live. This past several months we've been doing virtual meetings, but we're still coming together. But again, the districts are just to provide representation across the state so that everybody has a voice, even if they're in the rural areas or outskirts. So And at those meetings, the council members will talk about various issues in their communities. They may talk about scheduling CLE programs that are going to be beneficial to young lawyers or lawyers all over the state. So they come together to talk about ways that they can impact their communities and impact lawyers and make the profession even better. I hope that answers your question.
I think there's a good follow-up, a voice for what? So what are we representing? It's all sorts of, it's the interest of the legal community. And I think this year was a big year for that. And making sure voices are heard, and how did we as a council come together to discuss what's happening? How did we make changes for that who we're representing wanted to see? And maybe Krista, you could take that to kind of tell a little bit about what we did this year in our representation.
Yeah, so this was obviously a big year for diversity, and I think there was a lot of focus on making sure that we have programs and resources that really bring forth the bar's goals and strategic plans on promoting diversity within the bar and the practice in the entire state of Missouri. And so this year, the YLS Council and its diversity committee really spearheaded a very unique CLE program that was very well attended. We held it in two different jurisdictions. The third one got canceled because of the pandemic, but we ended up being able to fund a production, like a theatrical production, and combine it with a panel of judges, state, local, federal, appellate, from across the entire state. And so doing that kind of programming required a lot of input and interaction from the council, a lot of voting on different things, how we were allocating funds, who is responsible for coordinating different events. And so the YLS Council has a strong voice in the Missouri Bar for what kinds of things we want to see the Missouri Bar accomplish. And also just as far as having a voice for your community, maybe there's something that your community really wants, that young lawyers really want to see happening in your community. So you would approach the council and say, hey, we want to have these kinds of programs. We want to have these kinds of CLEs. We want to have these kinds of events. We want to have these kinds of speakers. We want to have access to these types of lawyers. We need to have these resources to help our community in this way. We want to volunteer for these types of things. We want the Missouri Bar to be active here. So all of those things are decisions that the YLS Council makes as far as, if there's a way that we can support that, encourage it, push it forward. And so to be able to be representing your community in that way on the council is how we can accomplish big things as a bar.
Yep, agree. We also added 2 diversity seats for the council, so pulling diverse membership onto the council and adding them then to the executive committee, so that we made some real changes on behalf of young lawyers and how decision making is happening in leadership. The next question here was, are there going to be more virtual young lawyer section networking events, or are there annual events we should look out for? Does anybody want to take that one? David?
Sure. And at this point, obviously, we don't know how long the pandemic is going to last. I don't think we have a specific networking event schedule that's in the pipeline, but it's certainly something that we've discussed and talked about, and I think is a great idea. Typically, when we're able to meet in person, the bar as a whole has an annual meeting that actually was supposed to be last week in Kansas City. So that rotates between Kansas City, St. Louis, and then what is generally referred to as outstate Missouri. And when it's an outstate location, it can be anywhere. Recently, it's been at the Lake of the Ozarks, Branson, for instance. But that is one of the, I'd say, probably the largest networking event that the bar is involved with and sponsors. And And that also includes most of your CLE, if not all of your CLE for the year. So I think to answer the question, we certainly want to have something virtually, and hopefully we can, once the pandemic passes, we'll be able to meet in person. But if anybody has any ideas of any type of virtual events that you think would be great, feel free to reach out and let us know, because we're always looking for ideas. I know that obviously virtual happy hour or something is popular, so that can be a thought. But if somebody else has any ideas of what would be a good event, feel free to let us know.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
In normal years, we also always do a tailgate at a Mizzou football game. No tailgating this year, so that won't be happening this year, but keep your eyes peeled for that in the future. And we also, in addition to the annual meeting in the fall every year, there is also a late winter, early spring meeting that rotates similarly to the annual meeting that is specifically for Young Lawyers Section Council. So it rotates Kansas City, St. Louis, and then somewhere outstate. And during that time, we always host a networking event. If we're able to do it in person next late winter, early fall, we'll see. But we also host a networking event for young attorneys in the area, and it's open to anyone who is a young lawyer. So keep your eyes peeled for that also. And watch the blog that Danielle showed you earlier when she was screen sharing to see what events are going to be coming up in your area when we can have events again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Brooke's question here is, as a follow-up for networking events, are there group volunteer opportunities? I glanced at the website and saw a list of things to sign up for, but not set events. Of course, there may not be any currently because of the pandemic. It's a really good question. You're right. It's because the pandemic has kind of put a stop to a lot of things that we were doing in person. As far as volunteering right now, it's kind of an awkward situation. Obviously, money goes a long way, but we're not going to ask young lawyers to get together and put money aside. So we, as a council, that's part of our charge, is to regroup and figure out what we need to do to make sure that you are getting the networking in. And I'm taking away a lot from this session here. So thank you for your question, Brooke. I will tell you though, as Whitney said, we do have social, and so we encourage you to follow that. We will post when things come up, when we get our collective heads together and find some fun ideas that we can do as a group. And you're welcome to all of it. As we mentioned, you're an automatic member of the YLS, so please hang out with us.
There are a couple of things, I think, Danielle. I don't know if you're still doing the Constitution Day classroom discussions, but if you're interested in volunteering for that, essentially what it is there is a program that's already been put together by leadership of the bar, and then any lawyer, particularly YLS members, can go into their school communities, assuming they can work something out with how to present something virtually to a classroom, any middle school, high school, maybe even elementary school, and present this presentation that's already been created. And then there's also the free legal answers clinic that we have, and the YLS has done a lot of work because Brett has been spearheading that, and we are very loyal to Brett because of how well he supports our work. And so it's a very easy thing to do. You just go on to the website and you look for a question, and if you can answer it, you can answer it. It's a really easy way to volunteer, and it's very simple. And so those are two things that are you're still capable of participating in now, that don't require you to be in person. But we do have other events where there's a lot of volunteer opportunities, but they're just all in person. So unfortunately, we're kind of limited at this point in time.
Farah mentioned that you can volunteer to author a publication. So if you're interested, you can get in contact with her. And I'm sure and then Morgan just put up the Missouri Free Legal Answers link for you in case you want to maybe bookmark that. Farah, maybe you can share your email or wherever you want people to sign up to assist in writing a publication. This might be a good opportunity to meet a seasoned lawyer and say, hey, I'm interested in this. I know this is your practice area, or maybe you're managing partner or somebody, and get to work on a project for the Missouri bar, for the bigger bar. So you can get creative with it. These are tools to help you build your career, you as a person, and then hopefully get to know us young lawyers. I think we're fair closing in on the timeline. Is that it? Any other questions? Oh, where is the best place to find information regarding pro bono opportunities and CLE events? You will be getting regular emails from the Missouri Bar. Esquire is the one that comes weekly, and then also Missouri Bar CLE will send a calendar out of CLEs that are available. Some are free. I know through the pandemic there was a variety of free CLEs that were available. We're very grateful for that. The Young Lawyers section also puts on a Lunch and Learn Basics that you might be interested in. It's the basics of different areas of law that we'll be publicizing. And then pro bono opportunities is part of your new lawyer survival guide as well. But maybe Farah, do you know where they can specifically go to look for that? She might be able to drop a link in there for us. And of course, if you're interested, probably anybody in your area, anybody on the council can hook you up with a pro bono opportunity. I know I have many, if you are interested in the immigration area, for sure. Good question. That's what I want to hear out of new lawyers. How can I do free work?
And it's an apt question to ask Danielle because she has won every pro bono attorney award that that is given in the state of Missouri. It seems she is a champion for free legal services to those in need.
Absolutely. And so I know we're closing on the time frame. Thank you, Whitney. I know we're closing on the time frame, but the YLS does have a disaster response team. So through COVID, we've had a team put together to assist with legal representation through the tornadoes a few years ago. YLS and the Missouri Bar had people on the ground assisting. So watch for that. The social is actually really great coming from both the council and the Missouri Bar. And it's an easy way to just keep up to date on what's happening. So I encourage you, I've said it 5 times now, like our page. It actually helps me quite a bit. So any questions? Any other? Nope, I think that's it. Well, they are off to get sworn in virtually, I guess, right? 2:30? Okay, well, it was nice to meet you all. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congrats, welcome to the club.
Congratulations.
Way to go.